These 5 things will shortcut how much time it takes you to make money with an e-commerce business in 2022 as a complete beginner. It's that time of the year where you're probably thinking of your New Year resolution, and I wouldn't be surprised if after what happened with the pandemic, lots of people lost their job and they were relying on stimulus check. You're probably interested in starting your own business, and specifically an e-commerce business. Now, this is not an easy thing to do, and we're all in different stages of life. So without further ado, here's the first thing you got to keep in mind. There are tons of different models of e-commerce businesses, each one bringing their unique set of pros and cons. And according to mybrain.com, the top 3 ones are dropshipping, Amazon FBA, and print on demand. What this means is that there should be a model that fits your lifestyle, your budget, and other life constraints like time and skills. Some require a lot of money up front, and others just require a lot of work with less capital up front, which is what I had to choose, because when I started, I was a debt broke pizza delivery driver. So just do your research and pick one that fits your needs. E-commerce is not dead or saturated. Year after year, the industry has been growing here in the United States and honestly around the globe. And yeah, it is more competitive than if you were to start 5 years ago. However, the fact that the market has been growing means that there's actually more opportunities now than there were back then. Simply put, you basically have more potential customers, and these people are more accustomed to buying online. The one that says that it's saturated are those that try, didn't put enough effort, so they ultimately fail. We call those people quitters. I personally have been running e-commerce firm for the past 3 years, and 7 of them have actually hit 7 figures. I mean, just look at what my friend Jason did. $250,000 in just 7 days selling $100 products. But how is this possible, right? How is it that there's people that fail miserably and other people like Jason that make $250,000 in just 5 days?
It's simple, just not easy. Each of the models that I mentioned earlier have really simple concepts. Basically, you just have to find or create a product that's unique, make sure there's a group of people willing to pay for it, and all you gotta do is show them the product in a way that catches their attention and convince them to buy. And the problem is, a lot of people get impatient and they quit before they could get any results. They're totally cool with spending 4 years at a university and going in depth hundreds of thousands of dollars, but then they get mad when they buy a course for $997 and aren't rich in 2 weeks. If you're one of them, I got nothing to say to you other than do not go into 2022 with that mentality. Another thing to note is that some people just won't make it, and I know that sounds harsh and makes me look a little bit arrogant, but let me explain. This path may simply not be for you. We all see the glamorous life of having an e-commerce business, being able to travel everywhere, being able to buy tons of Lambos, because that's what Instagram is obsessed with, being able to work from anywhere, and this is all cool, but what a lot of people fail to realize is the amount of pressure and mental stress that it takes to run an e-commerce business.
To make it, you have to be okay with working well under pressure, working with little to no certainty, going broke, dealing with angry people, working really long hours, not knowing if things are gonna pan out. And this last one's gonna hit home for a lot of you, just like it did for me. You gotta be okay with being judged and criticized by the people closest to you, simply because they don't understand. If anything I just mentioned scares you, you might want to consider becoming an entrepreneur instead. You might wonder what that is. Essentially, they have a lot of characteristics like an entrepreneur, where they like to improve, they want that unlimited type of income, but they have less tolerance for risk. So usually these people are at higher position, but working under someone else's company. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna take sacrifice. It's gonna take a lot of hard work, but it is so worth it, which takes me to point number 5. If you stick to it, sooner or later you will win, and realize that all the hard work and effort you put in was worth it. I can book a flight and visit my parents whenever I want. I can afford having a girlfriend that's a foodie. I can pay my employees well enough that their families can reap the benefit. I mean, we have my guy Robbie here. We were on a meeting today and he told me that his family was able to get a home, which is apparently really hard to do in India, and it gives him like a great sense of security or whatnot. The point is that you create options for yourself, options for your family, all of this without having to clock in on a time sheet, without having to take 30 minutes lunch break or have to report to someone else. As you go into 2022, realize that the risk here is not that you might lose some money along the way as you're learning, but that by doing nothing, you're essentially putting your life and the life of your loved ones in the hands of your job and the economy. And in case nobody told you, those two don't really care about you. Take my friend Sam, for example. I actually made a video with him last week. He graduated with a mechanical engineering degree from the same school that I was supposed to graduate if I didn't drop out. And now, unfortunately, he's unemployed.
Obviously, if you're still watching, that means that you don't care about the naysayers and you really want to do this for you and for your future family if you don't have one yet. Which is why you have to watch this video up here where I show you exactly how to start your own online store in 2022.